Let's talk about something today. Something that I know that a lot of people have not really sat down to think about. And I think what I'm about to take you into may be something that you may need for your understanding today. For a lot of African men in diaspora, a lot of you guys out there, and a lot of African men pretty much in the world today, I hope you need to understand that marriage is being redefined by women, not by men. The society, which is driven by a much more darker agenda, an agenda that comes sometimes from the pit of hell itself, has begun to even redefine what it means to be a man. I'm the man. I know how it feels like to be a man. But the society, in an attempt to create the greatest confusion you've ever seen on earth, they give the shifting now is the women telling us how to be men. But we have no right to tell them how to be women. In the same way, marriage, which was created by God, the conversation on marriage has been taken away from the church and is now controlled by the secular society. The secular society is now telling you what marriage should be like. And so it is of no surprise that those of us who are going in to marriage with the Bible in our hands and saying this is what marriage should be like, are beginning to encounter horrific results from because it's not being defined that way anymore. It's being defined by the society, and there's a darker power behind the society that is telling people what to tell other people what marriage is like. So gay people are talking about marriage now, what it should be. Transgender people are talking about what marriage should be. Women are talking what they think a marriage should be. Not the men are coming in as the drones. I call it the bee syndrome. So what is the bee syndrome? The bee syndrome, or the beehive syndrome. There's a queen. And the most important aspect are the soldiers, and then you have the workers, which are all female. And the males, which are the drones, the male bees, are only there for fertilization. After fertilization, they die. That is where society is moving towards. We're going to be kept down for only two things: bring a woman money and enhancement to her life, and fertilizer. After that, we are no more useful anymore. The bee syndrome, the beehive syndrome. However, in my opinion, if we are becoming drones, if the society is now dictating that men are drones, just do what the women want, fertilize them, bring them the amount of money they want and what they want, and then we die and are put in our coffins, then where is the hope for the African man in diaspora, or the African man in general, when dealing with their women who have moved on? Where is the hope? In my opinion, the hope would be that we have to reconfigure how we see things. That most likely that woman that you want to marry doesn't love you in the sense of, I love you because your name is John, or I love you just because you wake up every morning and you are alive, or I love you because you are existing. No. There are preconditions for her love for you. But in the new definition of relationships, you should not have any preconditions for her. You know? Isn't it just amazing? However, minus the idea of preconditions, that there are preconditions for you. You shouldn't be living in your mother's house. You should have a car. You should have a steady job. You should have everything lined up. And then she should come in and still be allowed to judge all mannerisms, all emotional aspects of you. She should judge everything about you. But you have no right to impose any expectations of her. Any whatsoever. Your job is just to pick her up and do her desires. Isn't that where we are? So we have turned into the drones, the male bees in the beehive. We function to serve the women and the queen, and then we die. So how do we adapt to this new world? The new world in which you could be very stupid to think that you're marrying her because you need someone to cook for you. Most likely, the home she's coming from, they didn't cook for her. Or that you could be very, very stupid to think that she's coming here to help you to achieve your dreams. Most likely, she has her dreams which must be achieved first before we think about yours. Or that you could be extremely stupid to think that she's coming here because she wants to share, she shares the same interest that you share, or that she really wants to come and defer to you. I mean, African men need to wake up and stop thinking. A lot of African men that I have seen in diaspora that are now being left behind are the African men who think on the traditional lines of marriage. They're the ones who have stayed here. And I'm a small boy to a lot of them. They've stayed here 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. They can't marry anymore because women have moved on. They have thrown away the traditional definitions of marriage and have achieved a brand new definition of marriage. And in the new definition of marriage, you're really done. You're really, really done. You know, you're finished. So in the new definitions, what should we expect? You should be grateful that she even agrees to come and live with you, if she even will agree. But she's not there to cook for you. Men should know the women are not there to cook for you. They're not there to clean after you. They're just there because you wanted a wife. Yes, they're there because they want a man, but they don't have to do what you want. They don't have to do what you say, and they don't have to reason with you. And you know what? If you're not ready to see it that way, the police will come and get you, and you will be taken to court, and you will lose everything you have. So most likely now, what is our options? Our options is that in where we are going in our direction in marriage is that you only marry for companionship, just that you want a woman around. Now, anything she does for you, whether it be cook, whether it be wash the plates, whether it be help you with anything that is bothering you, whether it be keep your confidential stuff to herself. The idea that she took your secrets outside doesn't mean a thing. She could take it outside and mess you up. Whatever she does is really, I mean, if you notice very naturally now, anything they do and you lash out, you are the bad guy. They have a pass. You could tell a woman your deepest secrets and she take you out into the society. She could mess you up. She could destroy you. Anything can happen to you. So what are they there for? Well, they're there for the fact that you wanted a woman. That's all. They're there for the fact that you wanted a woman. They believe or think they love you as far as you meet their conditions. But inside this situation, you really are alone. You are still a bachelor. The 22nd century marriage is that you are still a bachelor. You still do your laundry. You still iron your shirts. You still polish your own shoes. You still go into the kitchen and cook for yourself. You will still do everything. Your job is to take care of her and the children. And that's just the addition that you brought into your life. You will, like in many cases of most of us, you will do the kids' laundry. You will bath the kids. It's just an extension of your bachelor life. The only difference is that there's a woman walking around. It's even been, let me point out something here. It's even been extended to that the sex is not assured. She doesn't have to give it to you, nor do you have the right to ask her for it. It's all going to be a matter of you are the drone in the beehive. In fact, that is the theme and the topic of my video. You are the drone. Your job is just to please the female queen, the female bee queen, and the female workers in the beehive. And you're there, and then minus fertilization, which you fertilize the woman and she has her kids. And every other thing, you die and you're thrown into your coffin. Look, there's nothing that is assured of you. For them, there's a lot that is assured. The man must be this. If he's not that, get him out. The man must do like that. If he's not like that, get him out. The man must be like this. If he's not like this, get him out. There are pre-list of conditions for the men. There is pre-list of assurement for the men. There is everything set that you have to, criteria that you have to meet to be married. But I want to let you know that for you as a man, you asking for that, you'll be the mumu of the century. You are the idiot of the era. You are just off at this point. You are a jerk. You are a moron. You are a retard to ask for any preconceived notions. That is, to have any preconceived notions or to have any preconditions for any female coming into your life. The fact that she has a pussy is enough for her to qualify to come into your life, and she looks cute. And you, like they say, you choose her. She didn't choose you. But she comes in with so there's a power shift now. As a man, you have to understand there's a power shift. So what do men have to do in this new 22nd century definition of marriage or relationships, in which it's about you enhancing the woman's life, but she doesn't have to do anything for you? She owes you nothing. She already has the biggest payment of all, the biggest credit card, her private organs. That's all she has. How do you adjust to this new world? Is by empowering yourself. In empowering yourself, there is one thing that is for sure. As a guy who you are just walking around hoping that women will give you support, you're going to lose out so bad. You better be your own support. You better turn to God, the greatest support in the universe. You better turn to God to help you to be able to attain your dreams and your aspirations. And any man in the 22nd century that has no vision and has no dreams and has no aspirations shall fall by the wayside, because women will declare you a clown behind your back. You'll be declared a clown. You'll be declared something that is a mess. You better have dreams and aspirations. And warning to most of the men who want to climb on a woman's back to succeed in life. You may end up like that brother who was poisoned for the tax returns. The backstory too about that brother was he climbed on a lot of women's backs. Women will poison you and they'll kill you, and there'll be a lot of support for those women, a lot of applause, because you know what? You should have been a man, self-sufficient, have everything in a line, and bring a woman in for her to add her resources to your resources to fulfill her agenda. Those are real men. Your resources and her resources fulfills her agenda, not your agenda. Your agenda is dead on the day of the wedding bells. It's her agenda that kicks in from that day on. That is the new 22nd century marriage. So what else? You better go to school. You better find a job. You better do a business. You better empower yourself. And you better slow down. Men are still chasing women. Women are no more chasing men. No. They don't really give a damn about men. The real women that have substance, nurses, I think the big one is being a nurse, medical doctors, lawyers, business management people, they take their time and go to school. They do time out for the men. They do time out. They take their time to go to school. They set up businesses. They are pursuing their life. They've abandoned men. The man, the most sorrowful man on earth, is a man that is chasing women. You are the shame of the universe. You are a piece of shit. Because women have classically switched off like a switch. And they're pursuing what they're supposed to pursue, which is success, which is money, which is empowerment. So any man who sits down here, the woman is pursuing empowerment. Women are putting in 90, 100, 160, 200 hours a week into working like dogs, and you're still chasing them. Can you imagine how stupid you look? Can you imagine how stupid you look? A nurse is putting in 120, 150 hours into her job and into her work and into everything she does, and you're chasing her. What are you chasing her for? You really have time. Chase yourself. It's time for men to chase themselves and get a sense of shame. Women have really gone far. Get it. Women are owning property. Women are building houses back home. Gone are the days that a woman has property, she's built houses, she's driving a luxurious car. A woman is driving, she's opening her trunk. You see a woman driving into a parking lot and open the trunk of her Porsche convertible GT3 to remove her slippers and change her slippers to high heels to move to the gym and all that. And you're chasing her butt. You're chasing her butt while she's chasing her life. It's time for you guys to get it right. Men have lost it. They've lost focus. They're distracted. The very butt that they're shaking for you has been your downfall, because even while they're shaking for you, they're collecting money from you. They're collecting your money from you. Some of them are using evil power to collect your star from you. They are doing all kinds of things, and they're shaking it for you. They're shaking it. Some of them are shaking it in the night and making $5,000, $10,000. Then they use it to go and pay for their college law. They have law degrees somewhere. They're going for their law degree somewhere. They're going to pay for their school fees cash while you are collecting student loans. And then you're surprised when she comes back now as a lawyer to tell you that she doesn't want to marry a guy that has too many student loans. Some of you are not thinking. You guys are stupid. Very, very stupid. Women have moved on. They don't chase you. They don't give a damn or a fuck about you. It's time for you to get your own brain and start chasing your own life and have a sense of shame. Shame is healthy. In some instances, shame could help you to be able to navigate and know that there's certain things you just don't need to do anymore. How can it be that a whole generation of men are lost chasing women's nyash? And women are making their money. Women are doing business. Women are sorting themselves out. Women have more businesses now more than men. A lot of men who are married to these women that go around saying I'm chief this, or God this, or bad this. Thank God that some women, some don't talk. A lot of this is women's money. Women's money is making men look great. They are using women's money to build structures, to build all kinds of things all over the place. Women's money. And then you come up here and I'm a guy, you just find yourself. Some is women's connections. Women are introducing men to other people that help them to break through. So let me let you know at this point that the new 22nd century definition of marriage has changed. And the new 22nd century definition of relationships has changed. And the new 22nd century definition of what it means for you to have a woman in your life has changed. Whatever she brings to you, if she will bring anything at all, is supposed to be a plus. But it's not going to be a drastic change like the change that happened to our fathers or our grandfathers anymore. A woman is just a woman plus bachelorhood. You are still a bachelor. Live as you're still a bachelor. In fact, anytime the argument comes out that you claim that the change you wanted from being like a bachelor to being like a woman, you will see the backlash you will get. You are still a bachelor. The only difference is that there's a woman in your house in which you need to pay more for. Your laundry soap now is going to be split in half because she's going to use some. She's going to use, your finances is going to be split. You are still a bachelor. The new definition, they don't need to help you with anything. You are still a bachelor. And so you need to start thinking, if you're going to still be a bachelor, but you will have more children and a woman plus a woman, okay? Calculate how your life will be. That is the beginning of wisdom in this new generation. I am still a bachelor with a woman and 3 kids. I am still a bachelor. But the modifications is that maybe I have to call someone to tell them I'm on my way to work, or I have to call someone to tell them I'll be back. You're back to square one. A bachelor with accountability. Your new boss is your wife. She's your new boss. So you are a bachelor, but you are accountable unto her. That's the new definition. That's the new game. So think of it before you go into any marriage or you're going into any relationship in diaspora, because this is what leads to you going to court. This is what leads to the divorce, and they're taking everything from you. Your lack of knowledge of knowing what you're getting into. You are accountable to her. You defer to her, and you're still a bachelor. If she agrees to cook, she agreed to cook. If she agreed to help, she agreed to help. If forget even about the money side, that one is gone. You go and put your hand in her money, or you go and ask her to help you with money, your shame is greater than the shame of the fall of Mount Olympus. Get yourself right. Get your act right. Go to school. Do 2, 3 businesses. Put in hours. Struggle hard. Because that person you're trying to bring over, a lot of women nowadays are even dead when it comes to sex. They're sexually dead. They're sexually dead. They're skeptics. They're sexually dead. They don't care about sex. They don't care about romance. They don't care about anything. All they care about is their agenda. And they have a long list in their mind, which they don't need to show, they don't need to share with you. If you are not there to keep that list down, my birthday I should have a Range Rover. They should build a house for my father and mother. My relatives in the village. My children must all go to private school. This and this and this. I'm yet to wear those shoes I wanted to wear. Clothes that I send people to sew for me that I need to collect. My dry cleaning. So many things in a long list. If you are not down for it, plus your own problems, and she doesn't need to cross over to worry about your dry cleaning. She doesn't need to cross over to worry if your clothes are clean or not. She doesn't need to cross over to worry if you've eaten or not. But there's a lot you need to worry about on your side and her side. If you're not ready for that life, don't go into marriage in this 22nd century era. And yes, there's also the other bigger list of all the things her dad failed to do that you have to do for her. You're her dad extension. And there's a lot of things that you have to do that her dad failed to do for her. So I hope you're ready for what you're getting into. If not that, you are the jerk of the century, the moron of the century, the crap of the century. And you will pay dearly for getting into something that you really don't understand has been redefined and reconfigured to suit the 32nd century and to suit them and them alone. I hope what I've shared with you in my mind today makes you think, because whatever I say things, I just want people to think, because when people stop thinking, things happen. Later.